What up, Pittsburgh Steel fans? Matty Shannon White here. If you've listened to our defensive show, you'll understand why we're still laughing a little bit. But on this segment, we wanted to talk about the offense. We've talked about the defense. We want to talk about, from an offensive perspective, what is the one thing the Steelers have to do differently in 2024 to be effective, to make the playoffs, to compete for the AFC North title, to win playoff games. And why is that important now? That is important now because the things they do in training camp will set the tone and their ability for that to happen. We don't need to see the perfect offense in the preseason. We don't want them to show everything. Last year, though, we've got to be wary. The offense looked great in the preseason. Mm-hmm. They won every game. Curse stayed true. Win every game, don't win a Super Bowl. We were lucky to probably make the playoffs with that curse and with the quarter combined with quarterback play. So with all that in mind, and with all the investments the Steelers have made, and investments, it doesn't just always mean cap. It means, draft capital. It means moving for blokes like Russell Wilson, like Justin Fields. With all that in mind, Shannon, what is the one thing that the Steelers have to do on offense differently this year to be, I'm going to use the word competitive. We know everyone out there, the Steelers will compete in every game they play, particularly with a motivated coach like Mike Tomlin. But this is proper competitive. I'm competing to win a title or at least get into the AFC Championship.
Well, you was talking about moves they made, new players, but new coaches. We can't forget new coaches. Because you got Arth, the quarterback coach, you got Azani, wide receiver coach, you got Arthur Smith, offensive coordinator. All this is very
good point. I missed that.
Very important, these decisions, and gives the Steelers and all Steeler Nation hope. I wanted to say utilize the middle of the field. That was going to be my initial answer, was utilize the middle of the field, something they've not done for a while. But that's all part of this process. And that's going to be part of the new offensive coordinator and the new quarterback. And so my answer is they're going to have an above-average offensive line. Finally. Because since 2018, they haven't had one. And I believe that the offensive line and the success, how fast they gel together, and how functional they can be, and then beyond that, become effective and a impactful resource for this offense, that they can dictate and control games based on the offensive line's capabilities. If they can do that, it's going to take this team to another level that we haven't seen, like I said, since probably the 2017 season even.
And what, before I get into my one, how can fans, obviously there'll be the on-field play and tape and, all 22 that everyone loves to pretend that everyone can analyze. But how are Steelers? People, the amount of people have quoted all 22. I'm like, you're watching different all 22 to what I watched just then, because that's different. But how will fans at home know whether that offensive line is improving, apart from obviously the play on the field? But is he going to show up in particular stats? Is he going to show up in the production of key players? What is there a benchmark or an indicator that this is happening?
Well, as you said about last year's preseason, the way the Steelers handled the preseason is they was utilizing their packages, their main offense. It would kind of be like when Alabama plays an NAIA school to open the season. You don't take a lot from that when they win 70-0.
Yeah.
Because, there's a different mindset there. There are different levels. And the Steelers, it was fool's gold. And we all bought it. I know I did. I said, oh, man, they've turned the corner. This is great. And then when they went up against other team starters that were actually out there, and they'd been game plan for and against, it was a totally different. It was right back to what we were used to.
Yeah.
So the preseason will show us some things, but not a lot. But what they're trying to do means more than how successful they are. If we see play action in the preseason, if we see throws across the middle, if we see them playing Frazier and Troy F, we'll call him, because I can't say his last name.
Fatanu.
And Broderick Jones is at left tackle. And they've got these guys out there getting them reps during the preseason. That's what I want to see. There will be some struggles because they're going to be new. And the offensive line is like a hand. There's 5, and they got to work in unison. They got to.
I like that analogy. I like that. That's a good one.
Well, it's an old one. Everybody knows it.
No, I know, but I like it. I haven't heard it in a while.
They got to work together. And the only way to do that is reps and playing together. And you know what this guy's going to do and what his tendencies are. And you know what this guy's going to do. So that way you know how to handle your job, or does this guy need a little extra help against this guy? You know, what up against. So get that experience in the preseason. Win or lose, preseason don't matter. But what matters is what they're trying to do, what they're showing.
Yeah.
And so I expect this offensive line as the early season, then we'll be able to really judge. Are they allowing pressure up the middle? That's been a real problem, even in Pouncey's last year.
Yeah.
And quarterbacks hate congestion at their feet. And, you know, and then they've had to, you know, DeCastro just left. You know, it was, you know, they had to bring in that one guy. I can't think of what his name was. Turner. Was it Turner?
Trey Turner.
Yeah, he played for 1 year, and he was kind of a weakness. They've had weaknesses. Now they got Samalu and Daniels, but Cole was the weakness last year.
Yeah.
So if you got Frazier starting with it next to them 2 good guards and them really talented young tackles, we should start seeing progress and improvement.
And I like what you said there about the quarterback and the disruption on the interior, particularly with a smaller quarterback when you think about Russell Wilson.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of talk about this with like Drew Brees. You know, they used to invest a lot in their center and the guards, for example. There are some other instances of this in the NFL, but when you are smaller, that interior pressure in certain offenses, you've really got to stop the interior versus the outside pressure. But particularly with a smaller quarterback, you need that because they need to be able to get the ball moved back and work out how far they need to move back to actually be able to make that pass.
To have throwing lanes.
Exactly. And that's why the year that the Cardinals brought in Kyler Murray, that was the year that I'm pretty sure it was the same year or the year before they'd done it, but that's when they brought in Hudson, the center that had been at the Raiders. So that's kind of interesting perspective as well. But again, what I was going to say that I said to you, like, is show as well. It comes into play here too. Because if the offensive line doesn't work where I think they need to improve, ain't going to improve. And that is touchdowns. This team does just not score enough touchdowns on offense. Not enough rushing touchdowns. Not enough passing touchdowns. You just got to score. Like, to me, it's like just I you know, and maybe it's the Madden generation in me or whatever. I love defense. I think be a pass-led defense, be a defense-led team for wins. But like, you just can't be scoring the touchdown amount that they score is just far too low. I don't know what I can say on it. It's just not good enough.
It was a 2-layered problem, in my opinion. They didn't have the offensive coordinator that could create enough opportunities, scoring opportunities.
Yeah.
And then they did not have the quarterback play to capitalize when they did create, because it was so inconsistent. Because there was times there was plays there that the call actually worked. And somebody come open, but the line, as we're talking about, the offensive line was giving up pressure up the middle. And you had quarterbacks fleshing out every direction, you know, and couldn't see the field and missed opportunities. If they could solidify the center of that offensive line and the offensive coordinator could create those opportunities regularly more than what was in the past, Then it's up to the quarterback to capitalize and take advantage of those opportunities. They missed 2 to 4 scoring opportunities every game. And we know they did. We've seen it. But there was reason why, and there was different breakdowns. So if they could just take care of that, as you say, they're going to score a lot more.
Well, and they were equal 11th for rushing touchdowns with 16.
Yeah.
If they can score 20, they should be in the top 8, top 10. You score 25 or more, you're top 4 in the league. We get talking about these 2 running backs. That's what they should be doing. That should show that effectiveness. And then on the passing side, 13 touchdowns in the NFL.
That's crazy. Yeah.
They're averaging less than 1 a game.
Yeah.
It's like 0.085 or something like that. That's insane. It's like, and we know that there was average quarterback play, but you go and make the moves you made, that it's got to bear fruit from an offense. I just want to see some points. I don't know how many times I've said since I did podcasts going back to September 2020. If you're not going to score 30 points and be able to score 30 points when push comes to shove in the AFC North, you ain't doing nothing. Because Baltimore will find a way to do it. Mm-hmm. Mahomes will throw the football everywhere. Josh Allen and the Bills can make it happen however he wants to make it. Justin Herbert, now with the proper right offense around him, is capable of it. Miami with Tua and that speed. Mm-hmm. Joey Burrow, if they can get that team sorted. I can just go that there's 10 teams, all right, that can do that. And if you want to be a contender, right? And I actually think if Mason can string 4 to 6 games together for the Titans, I actually think the Titans offense will surprise a lot of people, right? It's not going to be the worst in the AFC. Not that I think that they're going to be competing for an AFC championship, but my point being is just that this team has to score some damn points, and it can't be left just to the defense, because if it's going to be left to the defense are going to, exactly going back to our last show, do what you said, and they're going to have to play in their fears, because they're going to be worried about how aggressive they can be, because if they give something up, can the offense go and fix it up? And this is where complementary football, again, I don't think people talk about complementary football enough. But complementary football goes both ways. And if this defense could hunt when they had Big Ben, because they know push comes to shove in most games, he's going to still keep you'll be in it to win it. Whereas right now, that ain't the case.
If we have to remember, and I mentioned it earlier, how many times did the Browns with Flacco put up over 30 points? Now, Flacco was they got him off the trash heap. I mean, the Jets, as bad as their situation was, they kicked him out to the curb. Nobody wanted him. He comes into Cleveland. He had Cooper and the tight end and not a whole lot else. They didn't have Nick Chubbs, but they were slinging the ball all over the place because the defense was putting them in good positions.
Yeah.
And they knew that, hey, even if we don't, if we score this many points with our defense, we're going to win. That's the mentality. That's the aggressiveness. And if Cleveland could do it with Joe Flacco, I think the Steelers could do it with Russell Wilson. I'm sorry.
Again, completely agree. Completely agree. Well, that's going to wrap up this segment of the Steelers Global Perspective. Stay tuned for more of us on Steelers Touch Down Under. It is an exciting week ahead. By the time we talk to you next time, camp will have started to get underway, which is going to be awesome. We're going to start seeing things. The Steelers are going to be making, they're going to be getting better, right? They're going to be getting better. And that's all you can ask for with all the different things that we've talked about on this weekend's content. But we hope you have a great weekend. We hope you have a great week ahead. Get ready. Season is finally in my mind. This is when season kicks off, when they head into training camp.
That's close.
But can't wait. We've got 9th of August. We see the first preseason game. So absolutely excited.
My birthday.
That's exactly.
It's a great day. Everybody.
I was about to say it's a great day all round, right? Everyone's having a party. Look at that smile on his face, everyone. Happy Shannon. With that, as always, go Steelers.